going on today, guys? In this video, we're going to be working on the Suzuki, the Titan again, my 72. Well, I went and put about, I think it was 13, 14 miles on it yesterday, Labor Day weekend. It was nice and cool in the morning. Did fine. No air bubbles down here, so we're doing really good there. I'm pretty happy about that. It ran fine. I have, just some issues with figuring out the clutch, the sweet spot on the clutch, and just kind of general stuff like that. The gearing, I two-upped on it. My girlfriend, she said she enjoyed it. There's, just figuring out where the gearing is and the shift points, and I know where the shift points are, but making sure it's a smooth shift. I didn't quite have that down yet. But in this video, we're going to work on a couple things. One, I bought another throttle cable because I have issues with this backing itself back out. You guys can see that. We'll come back over here to where I can see it. That keeps backing out, and I don't really like these L-styled ends. I guess that's the replacement cable. I bought one for a 68 through 72. Mine's a 72. It has the blunt ends, so hopefully that'll work out. It's a silver cable. I don't really care. The bike's mismatched already. I'm going to change tubes and tires. I went ahead and I'm going to need to change the front brake cable, and I bought new pads, shoes, for the front and rear, but they're coming from Norway. Bought them on eBay, so that'll be here later this month, hopefully, fingers crossed. But today we're going to start working on the grab bar because I don't have one. And although this handle works pretty good to move the bike around, it would be nice to actually have a grab bar. That's where this comes in handy. I was given this and told it was off a T500, but I don't actually think this is for a T500. It's got these bolts back here, and I'm not sure what those are for. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those off. I think what I'm going to do is it should be able to get it squeezed. I can on this side, and I should be able to get it on this side. Once I cut these off, it'll go far enough forward that I can use these bolts, because the other side does have this bracket as well. I can't say if that's factory or not, but yeah. So then my next one is I need to make a tab that comes down back around here. So I'm going to take this to work tomorrow and cut these tabs off because I'll just get to work early and do that. And then I'll fab up something probably tomorrow night or Tuesday night out of cardstock, and I'll have the video of that. And that way we can at least mount it here, and then we'll have it. It sits a little high, but I think once we cut these tabs off, maybe it's sitting on there. I don't think that's too high. I don't really have any other bikes grab bars to compare it. I think it's a Honda. I really think that's looking like a Honda one. It's what I got, so it's what I'm going to use. It'd be kind of nice to have it in case I'm on the other side to hold the bike. I can at least strap something to the bike. If I don't like it, I'll just take it off. I'm not too worried about it. So, yeah. Well, that's what we're going to start on. So, I'll get this I'll cut it off, and we'll come back tomorrow or Tuesday, and we'll look at it. Okay, so I have nipped the tabs off the back of this, and after doing some research, I realized that this bad boy goes under the taillight lenses. Or the turn signals, sorry. I'll post up some pictures right now while I'm talking about what I'm going to do. So there's a reproduction one, and then here I will probably post a non-reproduction. So let me start here. I don't know where I put my ratchet. Alright, found my ratchet. I was a little worried about that. I don't know why I was super worried about it, but put it up in the wrong drawer. That would make sense to why it wasn't where I needed it. So, needless to say, I'm going to go ahead and take these I think these are for luggage racks. I'm not quite sure what these are on there for. I'm going to go ahead and take those off. And another thing I'm not quite sure about is which side of the shock this is supposed to go. But for now, I think what I will do, because I don't have any other, I could look at the, let me look at something else. Honda. It goes to the outside on Honda, and the other Suzuki goes onto the outside. So we will go ahead and, ooh, this is going to be fun. I don't think this is going to fit as well as I'd hoped, but we will see if we can get it to, oh shoot, just kicked the camera. Well, I got it started. Let's see if we can. There's a mosquito in here. I'm gonna have to kill. I have to find a happy medium where I want this. Actually, I may use these. Let's take a look at this here. I'm guessing that's going to be a 13 millimeter, and I'm going to have to use a wrench. Goodness for ratchet wrenches. Helps you go the right way the first time. Oh, someone got that tight. What the heck? Oh, it is a bolt. Okay. Alright, so I wonder if I could reuse these. Although they're not chrome, would it line up close enough? I think it might. I think I might be able to make this work. It won't be very pretty, or at least this will give me a generic measurement here. I may actually have to tack this on the bike. I may put a washer. A washer may look a little bit better on that. There we go. That doesn't look bad. I can trim these down. And if I tack it on the bike, or at least tape it or zip tie it, I'll take this to work and bandsaw it. That doesn't look half bad. It'll look kind of wonky, but it'll give me the ability to grab a hold of something on either side. Let me look how the other side looks here. The hole's big enough, I'm not... Oh, that's over here. I can actually mark it, and then I'll the reason I'm not doing the welding at home like I normally would do is because it's been very dry, and if I'm going to be at work early for stuff, I might as well take advantage of using the equipment as long as they let me, which they do. So it's just one of the perks of the job, which I don't mind. So I'm going to attempt to use what I can when I can. That won't be too bad. It'll look a little stupid, but it gives me a grab bar back here. I can hook stuff to it and mount it, and it doesn't look too terribly out of norm. So yeah, let's mark it with a Sharpie, and I'll bring you around so you can see, because I realize you probably can't see. I'm basically going to take those tabs and I'll nip it here, and I'll put a tack on it and try to bend it down, and we'll I think it'll turn out. Let me maybe up, but it keeps the profile pretty low. I mean, the seat, this wrench is on the seat, so it keeps it low like the original. The originals kind of come up and then square up. I don't like that. I think this gives it a little bit more flow, and I can always take it off. So yeah, let's mark it and see what happens. Well, I managed to get it all secured up. Got the welds in. The welds don't look super pretty, but they will do. You can see she's pretty solid. So, since I buffed off a lot of that chrome, and this wasn't chrome, I bought some of the, I think it's Krylon. I'm gonna, the chrome-like spray paint they got for that to at least match it, kind of, and then kind of go from there. Also, another note, I decided to go ahead and JB weld this, most particularly in these areas. I'll probably put a nice coat along here and on the other side, because I don't want this breaking, especially when I'm on the road. I mean, I press up against it, so, I mean, because your leg, boop, boop. So, I got the fuel, I mean, not the fuel filter. I got the throttle cable in, the new gray one, so that'll be kind of fun to put on. Better put my little boot down here. I also, brake pads are actually supposed to be coming in here shortly. Supposedly to eBay it says Monday, which is weird because it's only like a week, I think, or 2 weeks. I think it's only been a week from Norway. Believe it or not, that's kind of crazy. They're at least in New York right now, so they're really moving along there. So hopefully we'll be able to get some tubes and tires on this, and I'll be able to ride it before the riding season's over. So we'll get around to that here in a bit. Well, I went ahead and ground it down. Overall, you can tell a difference in the spray paint. I used this Krylon can. I thought it was going to be a normal size can, but it is actually about the size of a shock. That's pretty small. Kind of like a air filter oil. It's not air filter box, but normally air filter box is there. So, I mean, it doesn't look great, but it'll keep it from rusting and noticing further. I mean, it came out really well, I think. Fits the lines of the bike. And best I can do without spending, you know, $100, $200. So, yeah, not too bad. So, next I'm going to work on the brakes and as long as the brakes are the right ones I ordered, and putting new tubes and tires on it, because I'd like to take a ride with it here soon. A longer ride than normal. So, oh, I do need to do the throttle cable too. Shoot, I forgot all about that, because I'm having issues with the one I got. So, with that being said, I'll see you next weekend. Alright, so I'm finally back on the Suzuki. Picked up some allergies or cold or something over the week, so I'm going to be sounding a little nasally. But it's time to put my Dunlops on. So today I'm going to focus on doing front and rear brakes if needed. I got new pads, brake shoes, in case I need them. If I don't, then I won't replace them, but I figured I'd have them on hand in case I did. Need to do the front brake cable, and of course tubes and tires. Now I just went with standard tubes. I put those extreme duty ones or the heavy duty ones in, I think it was the trials bike this last year, and boy, that was a mess trying to get them in there. Also, at some point, I need to fix my throttle cable and replace it with the silver one that I bought, and see if we can get this cable issue fixed, because that keeps threading out. I don't know if I'm going to have to put a thread insert in there or try to find a new top. So, but I'm hoping to ride it next Sunday. I think it was like 80 miles. So, kind of be nice to get this all fixed before then, and that way I can do it. So let's get started. Also, this is just going to be, I'll just show you what I'm doing, and if something arises, you'll basically get the end product of what I'm doing. Got the wheel out. Two things I noticed I'm going to have to look into. I was just looking at the axle, and it's got two spots on it that are kind of wore. So I don't know if the axle's bent, because it's only wore on this one side, really. Probably look at replacing the bearings that are in here at some point. Probably this winter, if I ever get around to doing the gators. I got to buy them yet. And also, the speedo cable is, well, it's no longer round and it is stripped. I don't know if I did that or if it was like that when I got it. It's been about 10 years. So, I'll go ahead and pop this off. See how this looks. Compare them. The bearing spins, so it's not locked up. I'm going to just re-grease it this go around. Linings don't look too bad. I don't know what they're supposed to be. I'll go ahead and clean that out. These shoes don't look too bad. They have some meat on them. We'll compare them. Let's actually compare them now. So to be honest, it looks like the new pads are less than the old ones. It's because I just use off-road tires all the time, but it does say that on the run-in, for 100 miles, I'm supposed to be very nice to these tires, or I may lose control of the bike. So I guess I'll have to be kind of nice and play nice with them. So I got the new tire on, new tubes, greased everything up, everything's tight, put the new brake cable on, and I am not very fond of it. First, the original Suzuki or aftermarkets have the little hole drilled there to put the cotter pin in to keep this from backing off. It's a two-stroke, it vibrates a lot. I don't know if you actually need it, but they had it on there for a reason. They wouldn't have spent money on it if they didn't need to, because that's an extra step in the process of manufacturing. Now my problem with this new cable is, and I'm not too fond of these cables, new cables, I have it maxed out up here and have it routed the same way and have it darn near maxed out here, and I could still spin that wheel pretty well. I can overpower it, which if I can manually overpower this wheel, when I'm riding it, I'm going to have no brakes. So I'm going to do some looking in the manual. Maybe I can adjust it out through this stuff, the linkage itself. Although this is backed off by itself at some point. I think we're pretty much at that point where I have it spread. It is spread far enough apart that when it is actuated, I think it actuates everything pretty on par. Actually, this should be the balancing, making sure they both hit the same time. I don't know, I could reclock it, but I'm gonna have to look into it and double check, because I may just go back to the old cable and at least have good brakes. Good brakes. That's the kind of. So let's continue on to the rear and see what I completely forgot that the Titan has this weird hub thing where the sprocket stays in. I could pull it out now, but it kind of just hangs out there. I don't know if it makes it easier or not getting it in and out. I pulled these brakes apart and they look just about the same as the fronts. So I'm not going to worry about replacing them because I know that's about where we're at on everything. Fronts, they don't feel too bad. A little bit of a lip in there though. The rears have been used a lot more than the fronts. So guess I'll pull this tire off and we'll see where we're at. So my first holdup. I've run into an issue with putting the chain link back in. I think they're splayed apart. I don't want to bend them and then take it, on a trip and then have it all come apart. So I went ahead and bought a chain. I looked it up on Partzilla. Partzilla has it listed as factory as 530 chain with 112 links. Although then it does say useful 530 110. So I went ahead and bought the 530-110 since that was the most reasonably priced one off Amazon. Hopefully it'll be here Monday. Today's Saturday. And we'll see. I may not get to do the trip. I may have to do something else. But at least I'll have a good chain, new chain on it. This one is very crusty. And then I'll basically have to wait to set everything up on the rear here till then. Now I do need to, I gotta figure out the front brake yet, and I still got the carburetor cables to deal with. So I'm gonna drain the gas out of the tank and then figure that out. You'll have to excuse the noise of the hacksaw. I got another project going on. I put the new silver cable on. I still need to fine tune the 2-stroke pump, but it is the appropriate length. So that's kind of nice for once. So I went ahead and bought another silver cable, a reproduction. I don't know if it's a reproduction or new old stock, but I bought another silver cable for the front brake. So fingers crossed that comes in. If not, I'll just switch back to the old cable and we'll try out the new one when it comes in from eBay. So I'm going to continue putting this back together, and supposed to get the chain tomorrow, so hopefully I will be able to ride it this weekend a little bit and see how it turns out. So probably the last video I make on this bike before I ride it. My goal is to ride it to work, and then I'll take it on a, we haven't decided if we were going to do a 60-mile round trip ride Saturday or just try to do the Sunday 100-mile round trip. Kind of nervous about that. Actually kind of nervous about riding it to work. I built up some leeway at work by working a little extra, so I have about 3 hours that I can use at my discretion, whether I leave work early, if I make it to work, or I don't have to worry about getting to work till about 3 hours later. I'll just tell my boss, and we'll kind of go from there. But nonetheless, kind of nervous about it. Talked to a coworker, and you know, he said, much like how I did with the Florence Grand Prix, where I'd never raced and took a bike that I didn't know if it would do it, you just kind of got to do stuff to find it out. And it's nerve-wracking, but we'll see what happens. I got contingency plans, so not too worried about it. I mean, I am a little bit, but you know, there's always that little spot in your stomach. So I can't remember if I talked about, I replaced the throttle cable, got all that stuff tightened up. Oil pump cover is on, oil pump cable set. I went ahead and pulled the fuse, put a new fuse in. I cleaned the contacts where the fuse is. Now the thing I bought a new fuse holder. The thing I don't like about the fuse, I don't know if I'll be able to get to it because I have it shoved up out of the way, is you can't see it. There is a zip tie on it. So I'll have to cut that if I have issues. I haven't yet, but you know how stuff goes. I went through tonight and I had gotten a new brake cable for it. It's a silver one, but it seems to work a bit better. I got some more adjustment on it, but that's okay. I'll get it out on the road and we'll kind of feel see how everything feels and kind of go from there. I packed an extra fuse because I bought one of those also. I retightened the rear axle nut because it was a little loose yet. And then I thought kind of off topic. I did buy a new old stock front brake cable. So that's, it was actually the cheapest one on eBay. So be that as it may. Anyways, back to my electricals. I was checking all the lights, and rear brake light wouldn't come on. So I thought, well, that's great. There's no way I'm going to get a brake light switch in time because I just wasn't actuating, or it wasn't lighting up the light. So I thought, okay. So I got my test light. It was getting power. When I actuated the brake switch, it was getting power out. Okay, that's a little bit better. That's just now wiring from the brake switch to here. So I popped off the seat, which if you guys have a Titan, you know it's kind of annoying to pop the seat on and off. So I popped that off, checked it had power getting to that 3-plug block under the seat. Okay, so I put my test light to the actual contact back there, it's getting power. So I had already looked at the bulb and I thought, well, that bulb looks good. I swap it out and it works good now. I have brake light. Problem is, well, I guess it's not a problem. When was the last time you saw a GE 1157 that was made in the USA? So I'm just guessing like that contact's probably a little low. It's probably a little worn, and that's what really caused the problem. It's an old bulb. It works-ish. I mean, the lights came on. Anyways, that's about where we're at. Hopefully I can get a video of me riding it. Hopefully nothing bad happens, and we'll kind of see what happens. So stay tuned. Well, now that I checked the cameras on, I've already went ahead and pre-filled the, I gotta wait for my alarm to go off. Pre-filled the carburetor. Primed them is what the word I'm looking for. I pulled it out to the road so that way I don't wake up half the world. Alright, put it back on the center stand, I think. Oop, there we go. Makes life a little easier. Alarm's going off, so I'll shut that off. Well, I made it home. I'm gonna put some, obviously you'll see the clippets of me riding it. There's a couple things. I really had to run it hard. It has a little bit of a bog, which I don't remember it having, and I don't remember my other two strokes having. It takes a bit to wind up, so I'm guessing I don't have the carbs quite synced right. But I mean, it runs and rides. I did a pull up to a unknown specified speed. I took the highway too up to, I think it was 70 or so, 80. So I mean, it runs. It does okay. But definitely some work for this, more work for this winter, I should say, you know, including the front gaiters and just some general cleanup and stuff here and there. Two-stroke seems to be looking okay. There's been this puddle of goo down here, but I think that's residue coming out of the carburetor. You can kind of see a little dribble down there off the overflow. So it might be due for some cleaning. It's warm. It's kind of cold-blooded. Surprising for an air-cooled, it is cold-blooded. I decided to give the bike a wash, make it look kind of nice. It looks good. I did some scrubbing, got my Dawn dish soap out. But as I was doing it, as you can see there, I have an issue. The air bubbles are back. And it's pretty bad on that one because you can see it's pretty much empty till it gets up around that bend. I don't know if you guys can see that. There you go. You can see it there. So, either this one that feeds this side is broke somewhere, or the fitting is still loose. I spent a lot of money on those Stato seals, which stinks. They're about like $3 or $4 a piece, it seems like. So anyways, unfortunately the Titan is gonna have to have the lines rebuilt this winter, which is fine. I need to clean the carburetors, so I gotta pull those off anyways. But hopefully, really what a lot of these videos are for is to inspire other people to get out, ride, work on some of their stuff, and hopefully they too can have some enjoyment in it. I don't know what else to say. Probably see more videos on this winter, because I'm not giving up, but at the same time it's a little frustrating. Anyways, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more.